How's it going, super friends? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Brad, the DC Universe Geek. Today, we are going to be reviewing the entire wave of NECA Ben Cooper superhero costume kids. The Joker, Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, and Batgirl. Each one of these is based off of a classic old school Ben Cooper Halloween costume. And off the bat, I noticed that the packaging for these actually really looks like an old school Ben Cooper costume package. Not that you could see the entire costume standing up straight in the package. The box was a lot smaller. However, they did try to match the same energy with these packages and make them look like they could have jumped right off the shelves in 1970 or 1973 or 1980 or whenever each costume came out. Now, each figure actually comes with only one accessory, and that is a trick-or-treating pillowcase for stashing their candy in. While each of the good guys comes with a Super Friends pillowcase, while the Joker costume kid actually comes with the only supervillains pillowcase. How fitting. Each one of these costume kids looks flippin' awesome, so let's just look at them all individually, starting with the Joker. Now, the Joker's costume is actually mostly purple. You have the Joker's face on the front, and behind there you can actually see that there's a bit of a suit, the Joker suit. We can see that you've got the Velcro on the back. So when I do the articulation, I'm actually going to de-costume one of these kids so that we can get a better look at exactly what the articulation points are and exactly what we can expect from them. Anyhow, now he's came back around, let's yoink him off the stand and have a closer in-hand look at this guy. Like I said, you've got Joker's face emblazoned on the front of the costume, which was often the case back in the day. The costumes didn't always look like the character. Joker logo right here on the waist. And this kid's got green and yellow shoes. The mask looks pretty good. It actually looks like Joker's face. I'm just gonna overexpose this so that you can see the light shining on the kid's eyes. Yeah, each one of these little kids actually has little eyeballs in there. And each kid has a string around the back of their head. You can see that this is one of those old school masks, which was wildly uncomfortable and they were really hard to see out of. So that is the Joker Halloween costume kid. And now I bring in the Wonder Woman Halloween costume kid. And seeing her start to go round and round on the spinner, we can see that her costume is absolutely inspired by not only the old school Ben Cooper costume, but also Wonder Woman's suit, except for the back. The back is all red and blue. And again, that was the kind of thing that you could expect from these old plastic Ben Cooper costumes. They really were cheap, and they really were something that a kid could get really sweaty in. Because these old suits weren't really that breathable. But we do get the Wonder Woman eagle on the front, the belt, and the panties with the stars. However, they gave her blue legs, and yellow and red up here on the shoulders. The Wonder Woman face mask that she's wearing looks quite a bit like the original one that it's based off of, with the tiara and the eyes. The eye holes were definitely not this big. They were absolutely a lot smaller. And they've given her kind of Wonder Woman-y hair on the back. So this little girl probably loved this costume. And she's got yellow and blue shoes. And next we move on to the Superman trick-or-treater Halloween kid. And Superman's starting to go round and around in a circle. And, I mean, this is what you got. This is based off of the actual Ben Cooper Superman costume. He comes with a cape that ties up in the front. I'm not going to bother taking the cape off. I'm just going to leave the cape where it is. It's made out of a reasonable fabric. The cut seems okay. And you can see that this guy is a little brown-haired kid wearing a black-haired Superman mask. This guy actually has green and black sneakers. And it's funny, I like the fact that none of the shoes actually match the color of the character that they're dressed up as. The back of the suit's all blue and red. And yeah, these suits are made out of a weird pleather. I'm not sure if I've mentioned that yet. They're like kind of a fake-ish plasticky pleather. It works. The S emblem is nice on the chest there, and there's the big weird Superman belt Sometimes I wondered about the design choices for these Ben Cooper costumes. Like, what were they thinking when they designed it? The facial sculpt for Soupy here, for the kid in this mask, actually looks really good. It looks relatively close to what the actual old school Ben Cooper mask looked like back in the day. And we can see that this little guy, he's got blue eyes. Oh yeah, and here's the back of his head too. Got some nice detail there, brown with a little black wash. And now we can move on to Bat Boy. Boy in a Batman costume. With Bat Boy up on the spinner here, we can see the costume up close. And this is pretty much what the classic one that this is based off of looked like. You had a big utility belt, big symbol on the chest, blue cape on the back. You had the blue at the bottom for the boots. Yeah, very, very cool. And it's funny, the yellow around the top of the cape for Superman and Batman is accurate to what they made the costumes like. They actually had a nice bright yellow tie string around the front. In hand, we can see that this guy has that gigantic Batman logo on his chest that says Batman right in the bat. Like you wouldn't know who it was if it didn't say Batman on his chest. And again, Batman on top of his head. Huge utility belt, big baggy gray suit, blue at the bottom, and the shoes that he's wearing. This guy's wearing like brown and white sneakers. P.S. None of the kids are actually wearing socks, which means their shoes are gonna stink. Here's the bat mask. This kid's got blue eyes, and it's funny, the mask with the blue over the eyes here, it didn't actually look like this at first. It took a while for them to add the blue over the eyes like this. I've seen some where they're just black at the top with no blue eyebrows, but it looks pretty good. You got the kid's head behind the mask there. I really do kind of wish that these masks all came off and we could take them off and have just the trick-or-treaters, you know, without their masks on. I think that would have been really, really cool. And now we look at Batgirl Girl, the girl who is dressed up as Batgirl. And with this Batgirl beginning her rotation, we can see the suit's mostly black. It's got a big yellow Batgirl belt, got a blue cape with the yellow string around the neck, yellow at the bottom to symbolize the boots. Got a ponytail back there. This is a really well-designed figure like the rest, at least visually. Visually, these are really well-designed figures. I really like the fact that these actually all look like exaggerated cartoon kids. And in hand, as stated, she's got that big Batgirl logo on the front, and it has to say Batgirl in it, just like Batman, right? As if people won't know who the character is. She's got her Barbara Gordon Batgirl utility belt there with a big bat symbol in the middle of the utility belt itself, which is a bat symbol in the buckle. This girl is wearing orange and red sneakers. And up close you can see she has blue eyes. There seems to be some green eyeshadow around her eyes on the mask. The top of her mask says Batgirl right there on the top. And she's got red hair. This is actually comparable to what the actual old school Batgirl mask looked like, as well as really all the costumes are. She's got that ponytail. Is the ponytail articulated? I'm wondering. Nope. Ponytail is not articulated. So the articulation for these guys, the arms actually go up quite far for a T-pose. That's actually pretty good. And then they've each got a bicep swivel, which can be seen here readily with Wonder Woman, who is a sleeveless character. And you can also see that she has double jointed elbows, and there is a hinge right here in the wrist, enabling the wrist to go down and up, and it's on a peg, so it can go round and round in a circle. The head articulation is better for some than with others, like Superman's head articulation is not too bad, while a character like Wonder Woman's, who has all of that hair, and even worse, Batgirl, which has hair that hangs down, gets considerably less articulation, has considerably less movement ability. There is also a line right here in the torso for each of these characters, and it can go around like that. It's more of the movement like this that you're looking for with it. There is just, yeah, there's like not really much up and down either, so it's basically just to go around in a circle, and there is no waist articulation. This is it. There's an articulation point right here, and then it picks up again down here in the groin, where this is pretty cool. You have a pretty good approximation of a thigh cut, The legs can go forward quite far, and they can go back, actually, quite far. Well, that doesn't help at all, Soups. And they can go back quite far as well. The suit does get in the way of how far out you can splay these legs, and I really don't want to rip the suit, but I'd imagine with the articulation point, yeah, I've just pushed the suit up. You can get a full leg splay if the suit's not in the way. They've also all got knees of the single jointed variety. You can't squish them down anymore. And then you've got right here a rounded hinge that pivots for the ankle. And how far can I get this guy to go up? Not the greatest. Yeah. So these guys are not the most articulated figures. They certainly have, you know, a reasonable amount, but don't expect them to be doing acrobatics anytime soon. So what do I think of these little NECA Ben Cooper Halloween costume kids dressed up as some of my favorite DC Comics heroes? I like them. I like them a lot. I bought these figures quite a while ago from Big Bad Toy Store, and I've just been sitting on them, waiting to make a DC Halloween video from them because, I mean, they're a perfect fit, right? They're DC Comics related and Halloween based. So, heck yeah, I'm going to review them on my channel. And having opened them, I do like all these very much. I've even built, as you can see here by the pictures that you've been looking at, a diorama that I'm going to yank out every year to display them on. Also, you might notice I've got the Halloween kids armed. They've got weapons. I thought it would be funny to have them turning the tables on and defeating the horror icons rather than having the horror icons just chase them around the graveyard. I thought it would be funnier if the Halloween kids actually were beating up the horror icons. That's something a little bit different. You don't see that every day. And, you know, I mean, they are a little bit creepy anyway. You can kind of picture all these kids, you know, doing nasty things. I mean, they're creepy looking a little bit too, right? Am I the only one that thinks that? No? Yes? Anyway, thank you so much for watching. It means a lot to me. Have yourself a happy, safe, and fun Halloween, and I will see you all with the next one. Have a DC day, everybody, and take care.